After Cassie and I traveled to Maui, I realized that a lot of things on YouTube is actually pretty outdated as far as tips for traveling to Maui. So I decided, you know what, we're back on the mainland and we just got back from Maui. And so here are 5 tips about traveling or booking your next vacation to Maui. Tip number 1 is actually to book during the off season. A lot of times we love to travel during the summer, during our own vacation, but we would actually recommend to go during the off season. Number 2. Tip number 2. There's this guy that keeps walking back and forth, and I think he's just trying to get on camera. Tip number 2 is to rent a Jeep. Most of the sedans out there actually can't really handle the road to Hana. I mean, you'll try, but most likely you'll damage the vehicle, especially on some of the unpaved roads on the backside of Hana. Me and Cassie rented a Jeep. It was great. And just, you know, a side tip for that, we would recommend getting a soft top because it forces you to like not leave your belongings in your vehicle. And if I'm being really honest, as much as I love Hawaii, we also have to understand that we live in a broken world. And the temptation to steal is pretty high, especially if people leave their stuff in vehicles when they go to the beach and stuff. So we love the soft top because A, you can take the top off, and 2, it really forces us just to take our belongings outside and not keep it in our vehicle. Because there's like no way to lock it. If you think about it, it kind of zips up and zips off. Tip number 3 would actually be just to stay in Kihei. Instead of Lahaina, which is on the west side, where a lot of the resorts and pretty beaches are, we recommend staying there because they're centrally located. And that means that you don't have to like trek really far, even though the island isn't that big, but to trek really far just to get to the east side. Most of the things that you'll be doing in Maui are located on the east side of the island. So you'll want to might as well just either stay on the east side or be in the middle. Kihei, we found, had everything we needed, and the Airbnbs aren't that expensive there. And tip number 4 is to actually find beaches that you have to hike to, and I'll show you that in a little bit here. It's how you know you have a good beach when you're in Hawaii, if you're ever visiting, is if you have to hike to it. That's how you know. That's how you know. Because most people don't want to hike to the beach. They'd rather just pull up, park, put their tents up, you know, get their beach chairs out, lawn chairs. They don't really want to hike. So that's how you know these are the good beaches. A little bit of hike, a little sketchy. So make sure that you're a good swimmer, because there's usually not any lifeguards. And it's a hike. Careful, it's slippery. Oh! You know how it's gonna be worth it? Check this out. Over there, that's where you swim. Just a side tip, or maybe even a perspective as an islander, there's a lot of things on the road to Hana that say private property or no trespassing, and yet I saw literally every single day more and more cars at each of these locations. And I think honestly the reason why it's there is because, look, that's actually is someone's property or it is someone's land, and most people aren't respectful when they go and visit. So if you happen to, because I can't force you, but if you happen to stop at any of those locations that do say private property or no trespassing, respect that and respect the property. Along with the road to Hana, we'd also recommend going not really early and just before for lunch. So I would say around 10 and 11, because most of the people have already started on their trek, which means that you can start going to locations and actually find some parking spots. An insider tip too would be to bring your Costco membership card, because gas is kind of expensive there, and there's a Costco on Maui, and we found that there's like almost a 70-cent difference between the gas stations that we stopped at, and the gas station at Costco, which of course I didn't realize until we were about to return the rental car. So bring your Costco membership. You can also load up on a lot of groceries that you could need that could also help save money instead of always eating out all the time. You can always cook at your Airbnb as well, and the Costco is right next to the airport. If you're planning on going to Haleakala, we recommend making sure that you have a light windbreaker and then just a long sleeve t-shirt under it. That will help with the wind and keeping pretty warm. But the recommendation here is, instead of going to the main observatory cliff where most of the photographers and honestly the tourists will be, there's actually a ridge that runs parallel to it on the opposite side, and that is actually where you should go because no one sits there and you get the first front row seat to the sun rising. So definitely check that out. There's more on Cassie's blog for it as well.
By this footprint. It's probably Brontosaurus, judging by